Hey guys, Brian Buckosh here, core design engineer with Brunswick Bowling, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about the newest releases from Radical, the Informer, and the Intel SE, and later we've got some shots to show you. So let's take it to the intro. The new Informer is a follow-up nameplate to the very successful Incognito series. You'll notice that the Incognitos and this new Informer share the same overall core shape. This core does have modified densities, however, in this Informer to match up a little better to the new stronger cover that's on this ball. The core numbers on this ball are now 0.051 total differential and 0.019 intermediate differential. That means core numbers wise, it's going to get down the lane just a little more with a little less flare potential, but the higher intermediate diff is going to give it just the tiniest bit more kick at the back of the lane. That's to help this core match up a little better to the aggressive mid-lane footprint that this new cover stock offers. Of course, this core is surrounded by dynamic core outer core material. That's the blue stuff that you see when you drill into the outer. That's going to give you more hitting power at the pins because this is a higher strength to weight ratio material, which means it's not going to compress and it's not going to lose energy when it goes through the pins. And all of this is surrounded by the new cover stock that I had previously mentioned. That is the Sharp TS1 cover stock. This is a combination of two previous technologies that were on other balls but never together. The Sharp cover stock was on the Incognito, and that ball got through the fronts really easily before making a strong back-end motion and gave it a strong overall benchmark motion on medium to medium heavy patterns and a lot of continuation, especially for an asymmetrical ball, but mostly at the back of the lane. That's what stood out about that ball for a sanded solid. And the TS1 cover stock is formerly on the Results series balls, including Maximum Results, and you will notice that that ball has more mid lane overall and just a sharper response to friction when it sees it. So this combination of cover stocks gives you the texturing from the TS1 and the back end motion from the Sharp cover stock. So together, it's going to give you the best of both worlds. The predecessor to the bonus line was the very popular and very usable Intel series. The original Intel was a solid that was a great benchmark ball that gave you smooth control on medium conditions, and the Intel Pearl offered that same level of control on lighter volume patterns. When Tom Doherty won the World Championship with an original Intel Pearl, it only made sense to bring this core back for a victory lap. This core offers a little smoother motion overall than a bonus. It has a slightly higher differential than that series at 0.35. It flares a little more in the oil and a little less at the back of the lane, meaning you're going to be able to control the lane front to back very well, especially for a Pearl ball. This ball has dynamic core, which is new to the Intel line. That means it's going to offer a little more hitting power. And of course, this ball is wrapped in the TP1 cover stock. The TP1 nameplate was originally on the Results, so this is a lot of cover on a smooth symmetrical ball. That means that it's going to have good mid-lane traction before making a nice response off of the dry, but the number one factor about the Intel series is ultimate control. Without further delay, I'm going to take you to the comparison chart and show you how the new Intel Pearl SE and the Informer stack up against the rest of the Radical lineup. This chart contains every release in the Radical lineup for an entire year, sorted by oil volume at the bottom of the chart, from the lightest oil balls at the left to the heaviest oil balls on the right. They're also sorted by response to friction on the y-axis, with the sharpest responding balls at the top of the chart and the smoothest responding balls at the bottom of our chart. Our newest releases, Informer and Intel Pearl Special Edition, are highlighted in yellow. Informer is another heavy oil performer in the Radical lineup. It nests neatly between the Maximum Results and the Incognito, and that makes sense because, as the cover name suggests, it combines the best of both worlds from the Sharp cover stock on the Incognito and the textured solid cover stock on the Maximum Results. Compared to a like-drilled Incognito, Informer starts a little earlier in the mid lane and back ends just a little stronger overall. Even though the Informer is aggressively sanded at 500, 1000, 1500 out of box, it still glides through the fronts relatively easy for a strong sanded asymmetrical ball, saving a lot of its motion for the back of the lane. Despite the fact that Informer and Incognito sit so close to each other on the chart, they do have nuanced differences that make them complementary. You could easily separate these with layouts or surface adjustments to make an amazing 1-2 combination. Here's my friend and Radical staffer, Andy Henrich. His PIP is 3 7/8 over by 1 7/8 up. This informer is laid out 25 by 4 5/16 by 70 degrees, which puts the pin in the middle finger and the mass bias right of the VAL. This makes the ball start early in the mid lane and makes it a smooth continuous motion to blend over or under house shots. This particular 43-foot pattern has a lot of volume in the middle, and you can see that the informer, even with this early revving layout, gets through it with ease before making a strong response at the back of the lane. The Intel Pearl Special Edition is built to handle a medium-light amount of total oil volume and is a relatively smooth overall ball for a pearl cover stock. The TP1 textured pearl cover stock means that it has a little more mid-lane traction overall compared to a bonus pearl and smooths out the back-end motion, but doesn't lose back-end motion. I don't want people getting the idea that the fact that it makes a smooth back-end motion means that it doesn't drive or it hits weakly, because that's really not the case. It actually just means it has a very controlled motion and a relatively long hook window, which makes it advantageous for blending wet-dry conditions while using a pearl bowling ball. I talked a little bit about how this ball compares to the bonus lineup already, so we're just going to take you right to Andy and show you how this ball works for him. His Intel Pearl SE is laid out 60 by 5 by 35. This is going to go under his benchmark balls and be a little smoother overall than his bonus pearl. On this 43-foot heavy volume pattern, he's forced a little further right than he'd like to be, but the ball still goes through the pins very well. On any medium condition or broken down condition, this ball's really going to shine. That's all the information I have on these two new releases from the Radical lineup, available in pro shops worldwide right now. Make sure you swing in and grab one. While you're here, make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube and Facebook pages, Bowling Buckosh. Feel free to drop a comment below, I'm happy to respond. And of course, check back often, because I'm making new videos as new releases from the brands of Brunswick come out. Until next time, thanks for watching.